So, Professor, getting back to our discussion regarding the proposals in the budget and picking up from where we left off, this proposal to allow the first 14 students who become island first, or the first 14 in the island from the advanced level examination, to travel to top foreign universities like Harvard and so on and so forth. You pointed out some deficiencies in this whole system. This reminds me of an interview that I had with another eminent gentleman here. He said certain people in Sri Lanka are overqualified for jobs here. He said he knows of a rocket scientist who is here in Sri Lanka, who is looking for a simple job as a mechanical engineer because rocket science doesn't have a place in the Sri Lankan employment field.
Yes, say for example, if one student get medical entrance into Harvard, but after following 5-year or 6-year medical program, he has to come to Sri Lanka
and work for 10 years.
Work 10 years in Colombo General Hospital. Because public place he has to serve, no. So, but whether the facilities can be applied, and the more than that is the important thing, that allocating resources. You see, in University of Colombo, we built some buildings. 150 million we can accommodate 1,800 students, one building. So I think that using this money, another 3,000 university students can be increased in Sri Lanka. 3,000 additional university students can be incorporated into Sri Lankan universities. But you can't say, someone can say that they will be unemployed, but that is a separate issue. That's one side, the country's labor demand is not growing. The other side is that depends on the faculty as well. But there are a lot of things we have to consider. But you see that the other thing, that if you want to make some impact to the society, the most important level of training is not the undergraduate. Just getting undergraduate level from year 16 to 22 is not. We have to target the professionals where after undergraduate. So I think the Harvard has good professional development programs, from about short run professional development programs. Say for example, policymakers, real policymakers agency, we can select some important people and we can ask Harvard to train. Then this country will be better off, rather than the selecting undergraduate 14 students and sending them. Anyway, these the number one people, 14 people come into Sri Lankan universities, and our experience is they usually get first classes, and after masters they get the national scholarships and they go abroad. That's how I came, for example, right? we also came like that. So we can understand those who are doing well in advanced level, they do well also in the universities, and they go to foreign countries getting scholarships. That is, they after coming that they contribute to the country. But there are many students, 3,000, 4,000. We know that out of the entire number of students sitting in advanced level, only 25% going to universities, 30,000 going to universities. But there are many students, they want to go to university, they don't have chance. So I think this same amount, 3,000 students can be enter into national universities with the same money.
So do you believe that this money that was allocated for specifically these first 14 students in the advanced level examination could have been better utilized if it was put into the university system to maybe make efficient the programs that are offered at Sri Lankan universities?
That's what. Mainly for medical faculties, what they need. If you really ask from the deans, what are they need to increase the students, they will give. So that is the number one thing we can do. Then we can increase number of students. Or you can ask from the professional institutes, okay, we will give this much of money, how many professionals you can increase to the country. So then they know the context. Without understanding context, even if you get a Harvard degree, he can't apply those things to Sri Lanka. So that they have to have some kind of knowledge on Sri Lanka. This is the situation in this country. This is another area. But I see another important area in this budget. You see, this budget, when it comes, there is a huge trade deficit in the country. Our exports are not sufficient. We spend huge amount of money for
However, it must be noted that the trade deficit has reduced compared to the previous few years. But of course, these are all estimated figures.
Yeah. The interesting thing is that the Export Development Board, now they have prepared, it's a good moment that the National Export Development Strategy has implemented recently. And I can see, I saw in the newspaper the the Export Development Board chairman was asking government 800 million to implement this export development strategy, national export development strategy, and improve the exports. But they have got only 250 from the government. On the other hand, they have allocated money, 300 million to renovate some grounds. 2 grounds, 300 million. So therefore, I think, are we thinking about 2 grounds or export development strategy? This is the country level. We need to focus the export development strategy. So that I think the export promotion and the information getting is also important in this budget. We have to think about this.
Also speaking about, again, funding these proposals, we of course have to obtain more foreign debt for this, and there are claims again and again that Sri Lanka is sinking down a Chinese debt trap, or a debt trap in general, by various countries who offer us loans at very relaxed, with very relaxed conditions, of course. If this trend continues, how further can we go?
Now there are two lines in that case. One is, now we are in the middle income country. For the middle income country, no concessionary loans. Yeah, loans are coming down. Concessionary loans are coming down. The second is important thing, that the economic situation in Sri Lanka is not good. So therefore, we know Moody's rate and other rating agencies are also rating it. And the international community knows that Sri Lanka has huge amount of loans to pay back. So there is a reluctance to give loans also.
Interest rates are higher.
Interest rates are higher. But on the other hand, there is one green light with the IMF, because IMF has agreed to provide, I think, $1.5 billion already provided, and then again IMF will provide the loans. But the important thing, that the IMF guidelines, by 2020 it should be 3.5% of GDP budget deficit, budget gap. But we asked them to postpone it to 2021. I don't know whether they will agree. I don't think that they will agree. So this loan issue is serious. So therefore, we need to target the income where we can increase soon. For example, this exporting, the promotion of exports is essential. So how do we promote exports? Because if we postpone the export promotion, we have to go for more loans and more loans. Then if we give more loans like these things we are taking, and we give that to Samurdhi, or we give that to public sector employees, so then where we are heading is a serious problem in the country.
So it seems as if we are continuously traveling along this path where there is no return, the path that would eventually lead to the downfall and the crumbling of the Sri Lankan economy. Of course, we are discussing about the budget for the year 2019 that was presented in Parliament. Second reading was passed very recently.